Okay golfers, so which is best? An open club face at the top or a closed club face at the top? In today's video, I'm going to discuss the pros and cons to both and give you some ideas and things to look for to see which one might be best for you, because there's no perfect way to do it. There's lots of different matchups in the golf swing. The end goal being, whichever you choose, can you repeatedly and consistently get the club face back to where you want it at impact and produce the desired and consistent ball flight. So some players work better with a closed club face at the top, some work better with an open. Ideally, you'd like to get fairly neutral or square at the top of the swing, but a lot of players do struggle to get there. So firstly, we're going to assume that we've all got a pretty good grip, and we're going to just talk about the wrist positions at the top and how that relates to the club face. So we'll start with the open club face, probably the most common one that I would see on a daily basis on the lesson tee or here in the studio. So what is an open club face position? Well, with the use of hack motion here, we can see my wrist conditions, and starting here at around 27 to 28 degrees of extension at setup with my lead wrist. As I get to the top, now if I was to add more extension at the top of the swing, you can see how that gets my club face pointing more to the ground, that toe of the golf club's pointing to the ground. So that would be considered a very open position at the top. If I was to continue with that position, there's a chance that the face is going to be aiming to the right, and the ball going out to the right, high weak shots to the right. But it doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad position, because for some players, the pros to this position is it can make the fade easier. So if your ball flight preference is a fade, having the club face that's open at the top is going to help assist in a ball flight that tends to want to curve out to the right. So typically, all else being equal, that's going to present a club face more open to the target at the point of impact. So if a fade is your preference, that can certainly help. Another pro to having an open club face, some players really like to feel rotation and a real hard release of the golf club. So maybe from the old traditional styles of players, or just that kind of idea of people just like to really close the face. So having it more open gives them the freedom to really aggressively rotate the club face to get that squared up. So that can be beneficial for those that like to do that. Another pro as well is it can assist in helping take out the left side of the golf course. So by having the face more open at the top, we can swing, and typically that's going to again present a curvature to the right. So there are some pros to it. Now the cons to an open club face at the top of the swing are just that you do need to work harder to square it up. So there's more work to be done, potentially more timing required, more rate of closure in order to square that face up. Another con, we would say, to the open club face is in an effort to square it up, it tends to mean that the player may need to slow the body down, stall the rotation a little bit in order to let the club head catch up and get square to the target. That can also cause a little bit of a scooped position as we start to try and square that club face up in a very short amount of time. So this has to slow down. We start to get into this more scooped or extended lead wrist position, which can produce higher lofts, some strike issues potentially with low point, weaker shots, less distance. So there are some cons to that as well. So that's the open club face, guys. Now the closed club face at the top, the pros, so the closed club face at the top is when, so if we look here with hack motion, starting in that same address position with my lead wrist extended, then from here, if I was to now flex that lead wrist more, the club face is going to point more to the sky. So the benefits to having a stronger club face is that a lot of the closure is already done. So what that can help promote is more rotation through the shot, less manipulation of the hands. So if I've got my club face more closed at the top, I can start to rotate harder, not do a great deal with my hands, and that would help with stabilizing the club face. You can be a lot more aggressive with your body through the shot, have a more stable face. Typically, a very good shot there, I'll take that. You'll see in a moment that the closed face is one of my preferences at the top, so we all have a little preference, and I'll speak about that in just a moment. So that's one pro, is that you can rotate harder through the shot, less need to stall. And if you did stall with that stronger club face and flip it, it's going to go a long, long way left. So rotation is incentivized by having a club face stronger at the top. Another pro to a closed club face is it can help assist with a more draw bias ball flight. So if that is your preference, having that club face closed at the top can help you then, if you do release it a little bit more, it can help you with that draw ball flight that you see there on that particular shot as well. Another pro to the stronger face at the top is typically that can present more. So if the face is strong at the top and I'm using rotation more to square the face, that can present a little bit more shaft lean at address. It's going to present less loft, more compression, more distance, more ball speed. So that's another benefit to that position at the top. Some cons to the closed club face, of course, we've got the potential for more hooks. So if we have that face closed at the top and we do continue to release it very hard with that closed club face, and we start to get into a flex position at the top and even more flex with rotation and release through there as well, we're going to get that hook shot out to the left. So it can bring in the hook shot as well for the closed face at the top. And often the closed position at the top may also require a little bit of lead wrist extension here to help not get the club face turning over too much. And it's something you might see from players such as Dustin Johnson, who gets the face closed at the top, lead wrist flexion, and then as he comes into impact uses his body rotation very well, and then he gets this lead wrist into extension to again help stop it going further left. Most players we'd encourage from the top of the backswing to get those knuckles turning down, more flex, but for somebody who's already really strong at the top, doing that's going to miss further left. So by adding some more extension, it can actually help with your club face control and your ball flight. Actually a really good one to play fade as well with that pattern too. So there are some cons and things required to match up to that stronger face as well. So I'll share a little bit about my own personal journey here. So when I was younger, I used to use a ruler. I was always taught to get a flatter lead wrist, and I think I often went a little bit too far. So I've got a slightly stronger grip as well, you might say, a little, maybe 2.5 knuckles showing. And when I trained a lot, I used to put a pencil, a very sharp pencil in my watch up through here, and if I was to extend my lead wrist, it would stab me in the back of the hand. So I learned very much to get a flatter lead wrist. So over the years I've had a flatter lead wrist with a stronger grip, a slightly closed face, and so I've developed this pattern similar to Dustin Johnson, you might say, obviously not quite as good as him. But as I come in, I do actually add a little bit of extension, which you'll see here. If I just hit my normal shot, so that's my normal swing. So what you'll see at the top of the swing, I've gone from 30 degrees extended at address to just 6 degrees at the top. So I've added flexion relative to setup. And then as I come back to impact, I've added additional extension here. As you can see, this graph starts to work up. And that's kind of my pattern, and that matches quite well. So lots of ways to get it done. If I was to, with that top of the backswing position, start to get my lead wrist more flexed, that would start to cause for me very much that left missed. So you can see there, very strong, very flexed at the top, and then not quite as extended at impact, and it's off to the left. So it's trying to understand your patterns and seeing which works best for you, which produces the best results. I would just typically, if we was asked the question, which is best for you, something to discover, I'll just try and just work away from extremes and just find, you know, somewhere in the middle, but you'll always typically be one or the other. It's about trying to find those matchups. A couple of drills here just to help you with club face control in general. Absolutely, we've got Hack Motion, some wonderful tools, some wonderful drills and trainings within the app here that can, with biofeedback, really get you understanding where to be and for your matchups. So based on your grip and based on your positionings throughout the swing, it'll give you some ideal impact numbers and top of the backswing numbers. And it's just trying to understand your matchups. If you didn't have Hack Motion there giving you the assistance, you can use something as simple as a tee. So taking your normal setup position, getting a tee here in between your first two fingers on your tray or hand, and having that to represent your club face. So it's pointing out where my club face would be pointing. Now, it feel a bit strange when you first set it up, so I wouldn't hit shots like this, but it's just understanding and awareness of your club face. So now if I was to take my setup position, if I was to move back to shaft parallel, we'd be looking to get that tee pointing back out in front of us. You'll see now the toe of my golf club is, the face is matching more towards my spine. That would be considered very neutral. A red flag for closed club face would be that tee pointing more to the ground, and you can see what that does to my club face. Gets my lead wrist in more flexion. Conversely, if this is pointing too much to the sky with the tee, my lead wrist is going to be an extension. So that's a good positional check at shaft parallel. Position 2, as we swing then to the top, you can see immediately where that tee is pointing. If it's pointing to the sky, I'm in a lot of lead wrist flexion for closed club face. If it's pointing very much out in front of me, it's very open. So you're trying to find that nice middle ground there at the top of the swing. As we come down into delivery, again, that tee is pointing back out in front of me. It's not pointing to the sky. It's not pointing to the ground. So these are wonderful little checkpoints to help you understand club face control. You can also use a mirror. We've got a mirror here in the studio. If you had a mirror here behind you, you could also check that club face position and that tee position in a mirror. And that's just a wonderful way, guys, to really start to train good wrist mechanics and help you find that more neutral position, or help you understand your tendency if you're one way or the other. So give that a go, guys. You've got Hack Motion or the tee drill there as well. Guys, I hope that helps. So in answer to the question at the start, which is best, I don't know. It's something for you to explore. There's different ways to get it done. We've all got our own unique swings and styles. What I would say as a generalization is a lot of players may benefit from a square to maybe slightly more closed position at the top. Typically, because there are a lot of players with the club face very open and having to do those ideas that we shared at the very beginning. But again, it's going to be, each individual will have their own unique ideas. So guys, if you do have any questions on that, please post them below. I'd be happy to help. Let's keep that conversation going. Give those couple of drills a go. Let me know how you go. And if you would like some more tips on your wrist mechanics and game in general, check out the link below in the description. There'll be some great videos there to help. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Can't wait to see you next time.